Okay, all right. So we are starting addition of vectors. Okay. Now, this is very important. How to add the vectors? Vectors are not something which can add it like the numbers. You cannot add them simply like numbers. Suppose you have suppose 2a vector and plus 3b vector. You cannot write something like 5c vector. You cannot add them simply like the numbers. To add them, we have a special method which is called as the method of vector addition. Now we can add the vectors in three different ways. We have three laws to add the vectors. First one is triangle law of addition of vectors, right? First one is triangle law of addition of vectors. First of all, what I am discussing with you is how to add the vectors graphically. These are the laws for graphical addition. Graphical addition, or you can simply say the pictorial addition. You will represent the vector, given vector, with the help of an arrow. The length of the arrow will tell you the magnitude of the vector quantity, and the the point of the arrow mark will represent the direction. Okay, and then how you will add the vectors by representing the vectors in the form of pictures, and then how you can add them. So first of all, I am discussing with you the graphical addition. You draw the pictures for the given vector quantities and you add them, right? Later on, I will tell you a method which is called as analytical method, means mathematical way to add the vectors. Simply without drawing any pictures, how you can add the vectors. Okay, so I'm starting with triangle law of addition of vectors. Now, what is the condition where this triangle law is applied? When you have a vector in this way, suppose a vector, this is b vector, and the condition is such that the head of one vector is touching the tail of other vector. Okay, so head of one vector is touching the tail of other vector. It could have been like this also, a vector, and you have b vector. If it is like this, then I told you yesterday that you can always shift the vector. You can bring this vector here in such a way that the length should be equal to the length of this vector. Okay, and the direction should be same. Whatever is the direction means, you can see that this is the direction, so same direction it should have, and you can replace the vector here. Now you can add them. So what condition you have? The simple condition is, you will have to remember this triangle law of addition of vectors is applicable when you have the condition in such a way that the head of one vector is touching the tail of other vector. Okay, in that case, if you represent the two vectors in this way, right? So what is the law? Law is, if two vectors can be represented by two adjacent sides of a triangle, okay, two adjacent sides of a triangle in such a way that head of one vector touches the tail of other vector, then their sum will be represented by the third side in opposite direction, a plus b. This is a plus b vector. Okay, right? Just a minute. Not a plus b vector, it should be a vector plus b vector. This is a vector plus b vector, which we call as r vector or resultant vector, right? Once again, I am repeating for you the definition that if two vectors can be represented by two adjacent sides of a triangle in such a way that head of one vector touches the tail of other vector, then their sum will be represented by the third side of the triangle in opposite direction. Opposite direction means, what is the direction? If you consider the direction for these vectors, it is anti-clockwise, right? So what is the direction of sum? It is clockwise. If it is clockwise, if it is anti-clockwise, then it should be clockwise. If you have a condition this type, a vector, b vector, then their sum will be represented by the third side of the triangle in opposite direction. So this is something your anti-clockwise direction. So this is clockwise direction. Means the sum should be represented by the third side of the triangle but in opposite direction. This is your triangle law of addition of vectors. Where we will apply? When we have two vectors such that the head of one vector is touching the tail of other vector, right? Now, next one is parallelogram law of addition of vectors. Now it is not always necessary that you get the vectors in such a way that head of one vector is touching the tail of other vector. It can be like this also. You have A vector and you have B vector. They have the same initial point, right? The head of one vector is not touching the tail of other vector, or it can be like this. A vector, just a minute. It can be like this, right? This is A vector, this is B vector. Now here the vectors are co-initial and here the vectors are co-terminal. This is second type of case. Now if you have the vectors in this way, then you form a parallelogram with the help of these two sides. We make a parallelogram, okay, in such a way that the two given vectors are the adjacent sides of the parallelogram. Here also I formed the parallelogram, right? Now you draw the diagonal of this parallelogram. Draw the diagonal of this parallelogram. Then this diagonal in this direction will represent A vector plus B vector. And here it will be in this direction, A vector plus B vector. So now the law. If
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah?
Sir,
Yes?
we can draw any diagonal.
Not any. This is parallelogram law of addition of vectors. Only the parallelogram. This is a law. Okay. You cannot draw the diagram of your own choice. This is a law, and it states that it should be a parallelogram.
No, sir. I'm asking about the diagonals.
No, that's
So there
what
are two diagonals of
no,
parallelogram.
not any diagonal. I'm telling you here. See, if suppose you can represent the two given vectors by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, right? Then the sum will be represented by the diagonal common to both the vectors. This will be means it should be like this, that suppose your vectors are co-initial, then the initial point of the diagonal should be at that co-initial point. Okay. If your vectors are co-terminal, then the terminal point of your resultant vector should be the same as the co-terminal point, right? Not the other vector. You cannot draw this
Yes.
one.
Okay, sir.
Okay. If your vectors are co-initial, then the initial point of resultant should be the same point. That same initial, the resultant and the given vectors must have the same initial point or the same terminal point, depending on the condition of the given vectors. If the given vectors are co-terminal, then the terminal point of the resultant vector should be common. Okay. If the vectors are co-initial, then the initial point of that resultant vector should be common in this way. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Fine, right? So this way, what you have to do is you will frame a diagonal, a parallelogram. In what condition? If your vectors are co-initial or co-terminal, and then you draw the diagonal, their sum will be represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram. Okay, diagonal of the parallelogram.
Yes, sir.
If the vectors are co-initial, then the initial point of resultant vector will be common point, and if the given vectors are co-terminal, then the terminal point of the resultant will be common to the given vectors. This way. Now I will show you that this is nothing but the special case of triangle law only. Okay, so you can you can say simply extension of triangle law for vectors with co-initial or co-terminal condition. How? Because this is your parallelogram. So if this is your B vector, can you replace this B vector here? Yes, because, and which direction? This direction. If you suppose bring this vector here, the opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal in length. So it means the magnitude of this vector is equal to the length of this side. If I represent another vector here in this direction, that will represent the B vector only, because the magnitude is same, the length is same, as per the condition of opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal, and if I take this direction, then the directions are also same. Now you can see that this vector is touching the head of this vector is touching the tail of this vector. So their sum will be represented by the third side in opposite direction. So it means that now it is reduced to the triangle law only. So that's why we say that the parallelogram law of addition of vectors is nothing but a expansion of or extension of triangle law of addition vectors to the co-initial or co-terminal type of vectors. Okay, so the basic law is triangle law, and it is only a extension of that law. Okay, just extension of this law into this particular condition. Then suppose it may be, this is for the two vectors. Now we have two laws for, suppose we want to add two given vectors. Now it is not necessary that you will have only two vectors. You can have like this. You can have A vector, B vector, C vector, D vector, E vector. Now there you have more than two vectors. So how you can add them? Simply you again apply the triangle law of addition of vectors. Now what is this vector? This is A plus B. Now take this and this one. Head of this vector is touching the tail of this vector. So this side in this direction will represent A plus B plus C. Okay. So this one. Now this plus this is in this direction A plus B plus C plus D. Now this with this, if you add like this, this is A plus B plus C plus D plus E. Okay. So finally, can you say that suppose if I have a vector of this type, if I have few vectors, A vector plus B vector plus C vector plus D vector plus E vector, what is this? This can be a, what is this completely? Then my resultant vector, final vector will be represented by this one. So it is A plus B plus C plus D plus E. So now this is the shape of a polygon. Okay. So this says that if a number of vectors can be represented by adjacent sides of a polygon, then their sum will be represented by the closing side of the polygon in opposite direction. Right? How this direction is there? The head of one vector is touching the tail of other vector. So if you have a number of vectors as the adjacent sides of a polygon such that head of one vector touches the tail of other vector, then their sum can be represented by the closing side of the polygon in opposite direction. How you obtain this? Just by application of triangle law. Different triangles we formed and we obtained this law. This is called as polygon law of addition of vectors. Okay. So is polygon law of addition of vectors, right? So these three laws we have to add the vectors, and you can see in all of them that the basic law is triangle law of addition of vectors, and others are just extension of that law to different conditions. Now if anybody have some problem here in these three laws, you can ask me. Okay, nothing? So alright, we move on to the next one, which is the analytical method. Analytical method means without drawing the figure, simply you can add them by some mathematical calculations. Okay? Alright, so again I make a figure. This is my A vector. This is my B vector. Okay? Now I want to add them. So this is my resultant vector. R vector equals to A vector plus B vector. Just now we discussed about the triangle law of addition of vectors. Okay? Let us suppose that this is A, B, C. So what I will do, I will extend this and I will drop a perpendicular from here dropped a perpendicular from here M. Let us suppose that this angle is theta. Okay, let us suppose that this angle is theta. I dropped a perpendicular from C to AB produced, and CM is that perpendicular. Okay, now here in this triangle, in triangle CMB, since this is a perpendicular, so this is 90 here. Okay, in triangle CMB, we have BC upon this BC upon just a minute. Yes, okay. Yes, from this triangle we will find out the values of this and this, right? So CM upon BC is equal to sine theta. CM upon BC is equal to sine theta. So this means that CM is equal to how much is BC? B sine theta. I can write like this B, or I can write like this also, because this is the side and side is a length, right? And length is the magnitude of the vector. So this is not B vector sine theta, this is only B sine theta. Or you will have to write like this, the magnitude of B into sine theta. This is your CM. Okay. Now similarly, BM upon BC is equal to cos theta. So how much is BM? It is B cos theta. Now you have CM and BM in terms of this angle and the magnitude of this vector, right? Okay. So how much will be AM? AM, it will be AB plus BM. AB plus BM, right? Now AB is the length of this vector. So the length of this vector is A only, not A vector, A only. And BM is B cos theta.
B cos theta.
Correct? So we have AM, A plus B cos theta. We have CM equals to B sin theta. Now the length of this side will represent the magnitude of R. Okay? R vector magnitude will be equal to length of AC. Okay? So it means that simply you can say that R vector magnitude I can take, or I can write simply R only. So if I take R square will be equal to AC square. I hope it's clear here. If you take the square of this AC length, okay, you will get the square of resultant, because the length of this vector represents the magnitude of this vector, R vector. So the magnitude of R means simply R square is equal to AC square. Now apply Pythagoras theorem to this triangle, right triangle. AC square you can write AM square plus CM square. Okay, this is equal to AM square plus CM square, right? Now how much is AM? AM is here A plus B cos theta. A plus B cos theta whole square. And how much is CM? Is B sin theta. So B square sin square theta. Now you have this R square equals to this. So now I remove here, erase this part. Okay, so now A plus B whole square. So R square equals to A square plus B square cos square theta plus 2AB cos theta. A square plus B square cos square theta plus 2AB cos theta plus B square sin square theta. If I bring them together and I take B square common, inside the bracket I will get sin square theta plus cos square theta, which is equal to 1. So this is A square, right? Or I can simply write like this: sin square theta plus cos square theta plus 2AB cos theta, right? So this is how much? 1. So A square plus B square plus 2ab cos theta. How much is r? Under root of this, right? Okay, so this is very important formula, very important formula, that how you will add two vectors analytically, that the resultant, the magnitude of that resultant vector will be given by under root the magnitude of first vector square plus the magnitude of second vector square plus 2 times magnitude of first, magnitude of second into cosine of the angle between the vectors. Okay, now you can here ask the question that this should be the angle between the vectors. Then why we are saying that this is angle between the vectors? This can be a question. It is because that whenever you find angle between the vectors, right? Just note it down somewhere in your mind or in your notebook, that whenever somebody asks you to find out the angle between the vectors, you will have to make the vectors either the coinitial or the coterminal, and the angle is not in between the magnitudes, it is in between the directions. So here, if this is your vector A and this is your vector B, then the direction is, this is not this, the direction is this one, right? You make the vectors either coinitial or coterminal, means the direction is this and this direction is this, with either coinitial or coterminal. So now they are coinitial, so this is your angle between the vectors, not this one. Correct? Always remember that if you are asked to find out the angle between the vectors, you make the vectors either the coinitial or coterminal, and that angle will be the angle between the vectors. This was your given vector, but I shifted this vector here. Now these are coinitial, so now this is the angle between the vectors, because simply the angle is in between the directions. The direction for this vector was this one, and the direction for this vector is this one, so the angle between the directions is this. Okay, so this way, so it is, this theta will be considered as the angle between the vectors. Okay,
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I was asking that why shouldn't you write cm square as b plus sine theta whole square?
Cm square. Okay. You
Yes,
look
sir.
at this triangle. Look at this triangle. If I ask you that how much is Cm upon BC, it is sine theta, am I right? So how much is
Yes,
Cm?
sir.
Equals to BC sine theta. And what is BC? BC is the magnitude of this second vector B. So it is B sine theta, right? So how much is Cm square? It is B square sine square theta, I think. This was your question or something else?
Yes, sir.
So in the beginning itself I wrote here na, Cm equals to B sine theta and Bm equals to B cos theta. Then Am equals to AB plus Bm, means A plus B cos theta is Am and B sine theta is Cm. Now use Pythagoras theorem, Cm square plus Am square equals to AC square. What is AC? R. So R square equals to this A plus B cos theta whole square plus B square sine square theta. This one. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Now, is there something left here? Yes. What's remaining? Remaining is the direction, because R is a resultant vector. Okay? What here we have found is only the magnitude. It is not giving us the direction. So we need just to find the complete, to know the complete resultant vector, we will have to find out its direction also. Okay, that is equally important. So let us suppose that R vector makes an angle beta with the direction of AB vector or simply A vector. Okay, so here how much will be your tan beta? Apply tan beta to this right triangle here. Tan beta is Cm upon Am. Cm upon Am. What was Cm? B sine theta. Upon Am was A plus B cos theta. So how much is, this is your tan beta. So what is beta angle? Equals to tan inverse B sine theta upon A plus B cos theta. This is your angle. This is the direction. What is the direction? That the resultant is making this much angle with this vector, A vector. Okay. Now if you have any problem, you can ask me here in this particular section. No? Okay. Let me give you an example here. Let us suppose that we have f1 vector equals to 2i cap plus 3j cap plus 4k cap newtons. F vector is this much, is represented by this vector, and f2 vector is equal to 3i cap plus 4j cap plus 5k cap newtons. Okay, now this expression itself is telling us the direction and magnitude, everything here, right? What is the magnitude of f1? Is equal to under root 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square, that is 2 square 4, 3 square 9, and 13, 13 plus 16 under root 29. How much is f2 magnitude? It is 3 square plus 4 square plus 5 square. 3 square 9, 4 square 16, 25, 25 plus 25, it is under root 50. So we have the magnitudes this much, f1, f2, correct? Okay, now what the condition is, suppose you have one vector f1, you have another vector f2, and they have an angle between them equals to theta. Now I want to find out the magnitude, the resultant of these two vectors, r vector, how much is that? So what is my resultant? Resultant is, okay, what is
अंडर
it?
रूट ए स्क्वायर वाला सर.
Yes?
सर वो फॉर्मूला जो आपने बताया था वो
Yes.
एप्लीकेबल है.
Yeah, you are right.
plus b square plus 2ab cos theta.
Bilkul, exactly. What you have to do is f1 square 29 plus f2 square 50, because they are in square root. So if we will take square, it will be like this, plus 2 into under root 29 under root 50 into cos theta. Now I was just telling you an example, right? I was just trying to give you an example. This question is not appropriate right now because you don't know how to find out the angle between the vectors. For that we will have to first learn that how we find out the product, how we multiply the vectors. So let us leave this for right now. Let us suppose that you just consider this condition, that suppose you have f1, f2, these two vectors, and they are acting at an angle of 30 degree with each other. Okay, so simply your cos theta will become cos 30, and cos 30 is how much? Root 3 by 2. So it will be 29 plus 50 plus 2 under root 29 under root 50 into root 3 by 2 square root. You will find out some value. However, this condition, since I have just imagined, I have just given you an example, this is not an actual appropriate question because there is a lot of calculations here. What questions you will get, the calculations would be very easy to solve. Okay, but this is the method. I just wanted to tell you that how the method will be applied. Remember that addition depends on this quantity also. It not only depends on the numbers, the values, but it depends on that what angle the vectors are having in between them. Okay, so it is not like the numbers to be added. There is a different particular way. And how to add, how to means get the resultant of these two vectors. Resultant simply means addition, right? So addition you can do simply here. f1 plus f2 will be 2 plus 3 5 I cap plus 3 plus 4 7 j cap plus 4 plus 5 9 k cap. However, अभी तक हमने ये डिस्कस नहीं किया, तो ये आगे का पार्ट है. मैं जस्ट क्योंकि लिख दिया तो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ कि हाउ टू फाइंड आउट द रिजल्टेंट. Resultant means addition of vectors only. So this way you can add. But if you want to get the value this way, for that you will have to know, you must know that how to find out the angle between the vectors. वो आगे आएगा अभी जब हम प्रोडक्ट में पहुंचेंगे. That time we will discuss कि how to find out the angle between two vectors. तो अभी के लिए आप इसको भूल जाओ, ये वाला. Okay, इसको आप अभी के लिए भूल जाओ. You just consider that if you have one vector, you have second vector, and you are given an angle between the vectors, then this way you will add them. Okay, what will be the direction? For that you have second formula, other one. Okay, okay, one more thing I want to tell you, that in finding the resultant it is not necessary to to know that which one is A and which one is B, but when you are finding the direction, it is B sin theta upon A plus B cos theta, and beta is the angle made with, beta is angle between R vector and A vector. Just remember this thing, that if you are finding your resultant's angle with A vector, then the other vector, not that vector, the other one in the numerator sin theta, and then A plus B cos theta. This B is that vector with respect to which the angle is not, you are not obtaining the angle. It is like this, A vector, B vector, and this is your R vector. This is beta, right? If here you take the beta angle, then this vector here, sin theta, then this vector here, then this cos theta. If suppose you are finding beta here, then the formula will change. Then tan beta will be equal to A sin theta upon B plus A cos theta. Remember this thing particularly when you are finding the direction. Finding the resultant doesn't matter, whichever you take A or whichever you take B, it doesn't matter. But here when you are finding the direction, in that case this term is, this is the magnitude of that vector with which you are not finding the angle, not finding the angle. Remember, so here it should be the means not included vector here, sin theta upon the included vector plus non-included vector cos theta, like this. Okay, I think you can understand this. Any problem? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think it's okay. Can you understand this now? Remember this thing. This is a particular formula. You cannot write A for B and B for A. It is not possible. Okay? Okay, next we come to the parallelogram law. Now we have this as A vector, this as B vector, okay, and what was the process? We will draw the parallelogram here, then this will represent
Excuse me,
the,
sir.
yes,
Sir, nothing is visible. The board is very blurred.
beta, at my end it is working properly. Okay, it may be some reason with your,
सर थोड़ा सा ब्लर है, यस सर. सर बीच में ठीक भी हो जाता है बट सर ब्लर भी है.
वो बेटा मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी ही होगा, कोई बात नहीं है. अब खाली 20 मिनट रह गए हैं, कभी कभी प्रॉब्लम्स आ जाती हैं. ठीक है, अब इसके बाद मैं आपको इसका वीडियो अपलोड करूंगा, आप देख लेना उस पर. ठीक है, आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग द वीडियो एंड आई विल अपलोड दैट वीडियो इन द ग्रुप, सो यू कैन गो थ्रू दैट. ओके, आई कैन नॉट कंट्रोल दिस ना, इट इज नॉट इन माई हैंड्स. ओके, is it can you see, is there any change now? ऐसे ही है.
यस सर, a bit सर.
Okay, चलो कोई बात
bit
नहीं.
change.
Just try to understand. So this was parallelogram law. If I can represent the two vectors by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then their sum will be represented by the diagonal. Okay, so this is suppose A, B, C, and this is D. So what I will do, I will draw a perpendicular, I will drop a perpendicular from D, let us suppose that M. Okay, now if this is B, then this is also B vector in this direction. I told you earlier also. Okay, so this will be your B vector. Now how much will be R here? What will be R? As I told you earlier, that parallelogram law is nothing but an extension of triangle law only. So the resultant, the magnitude of resultant will remain same. Okay, it is A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. What is theta? Theta is angle between the vectors. This is theta. Now your vectors are already co-initial, so no need to make them co-initial. So now whatever is the angle between the vectors is the angle theta, right? So here this is angle theta, so a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta square. What is direction? Beta. This is, suppose this is beta, then tan beta is equal to b sin theta upon a plus b cos theta. This we have already obtained in triangle law of addition of vectors. अब हम इसको क्यों कर रहे हैं? Because we need to obtain few more important formulas which we can from this parallelogram method only. Okay, first one is, alright, so from here, from this only, first of all you tell me how much will be cos theta. Cos theta will be, you can suppose, just a minute, from here you can write r square equals to a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So how much is cos theta? They will get subtracted, r square minus a square minus b square upon 2ab, right? You have a formula which is relating the angle. If suppose you are given resultant and you are given with the given, you have the given vectors and you have a resultant and they ask you to find out the angle between the vectors, then you can use this formula. This formula is also called as law of cosine. Okay, also called as law of cosine, because you are finding the cosine ratio of this angle, right? Theta angle, called as law of cosine, right? Now in this triangle DMB, triangle DMB, how much is DM? DM upon BD is equal to
B sin theta.
yes, it should be. You tell me one thing, that suppose if this angle is theta, how much will be this angle? It is theta because opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal, right? And if this is theta, if this angle is theta, now this and this are parallel. What type of angles they are? Alternate angles. So this is also theta. Okay. So how much is DM upon BD? DM upon BD, it is sin theta. Okay. So how much is DM is equal to B sin theta. Take this as 1. Right? Similarly, how much is BM? BM upon BD equals to cos theta. So how much is BM equals to B cos theta? Take this as second. Right? Okay. Yes, just a minute. We can obtain the value of yes, just a minute. I will remove this second one. Let us find out. We have DM, right? Okay, now you take this triangle, this one. Triangle DMA, DMA, right? How much is DM upon AD? DM upon AD equals to sin beta, because this angle is beta here. So DM upon AD equals to sin beta. Now how much is DM? Now what is the length of AD? It is equal to R. R sin beta. Okay, we take this as second. Now you can see that both are equal to DM. Okay, so can you say that B sin theta is equal to R sin beta? You can say B sin theta equals to R sin B sin theta equals to R sin beta. So how much is B upon sin beta? It is, this will divide there, R upon sin theta. Can you have this relation? Okay. So this is another important relation between the magnitudes of the vectors and the different angles. Beta is the angle made by resultant with a vector. Okay, theta is the angle between the vectors. So this is the relation between the magnitude of second vector, the resultant vector's magnitude, sine ratio of the angles between resultant and a vector and b vector. Okay, now again I will draw a perpendicular from B here. I draw a perpendicular, let us suppose that it is N, and now I will take this triangle B and D, triangle B and D. In this triangle B and D, how much is BN upon BD? BN upon BD. BN upon BD. This is, suppose this angle is alpha. Okay, which angle alpha? It is the angle between B vector and R vector. I will mention here, angle between A vector, B vector is theta, right? Angle between R vector with A vector is beta, right? Angle between R vector and B vector is, suppose, alpha. Okay, so this angle suppose is alpha. So Bn upon Bd equals to sine alpha, right? So how much is Bn? Equals to Bd is B sine alpha. Take this as 1. Now you consider this triangle BNA, triangle BNA. Here in this triangle, Bn upon just a minute, yes, Bn upon this, Bn upon AB, opposite side by hypotenuse. This is right angle, so opposite side is hypotenuse. So opposite side perpendicular by hypotenuse is sine beta. This is sine beta. So how much is Bn? Equals to AB length is A sine beta. Take this as second. Now they both are equal to Bn. So I can write a formula here. I can equate them and I can write B sine alpha is equal to A sine beta. From here you can write B upon sine beta is equal to A upon sine alpha. Correct? Okay. So B upon sine beta, it was here, was equal to R upon sine theta, and B upon sine beta is equal to I upon sine alpha also. So by combining these two results, you can simply say that, what you can say? That A upon sine alpha is equal to B upon sine beta is equal to R upon sine theta. Okay, this is called as law of sines. So we have two laws. One is law of cosine and we have a law of sine. Sine ratio, we have one law. We have one law for cosine ratio. Okay. Okay, these are important relations to solve the questions. To obtain, suppose few things are given to you and one or two things they ask, then you can find out with the help of this formula. Now we come to some special cases. Okay, before writing the special cases, I will mention once again R equals to A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta and tan beta is equal to B sin theta upon A plus B cos theta. We have this formula. So special cases, first case is theta equals to 0 degree. Both the vectors are in same direction. Let me fill the ink first. Let us suppose that theta equals to 0 degree, then how much is cos theta is equal to 1. So what is r? It is a square plus b square plus 2ab into 1. Now a square plus b square plus 2ab is a plus b whole square. Under root, square under root will cancel, a plus b. So
A
if you
plus B.
yeah, so if you have your vectors in the same direction, then simply just like numbers you can add them. Okay, like the numbers you can simply add them if they are along the same direction. Okay, then second is, suppose theta equals to 180 degree. 180 degree means if one vector is along this direction, the other vector is opposite to it. So what is the angle between them? It is 180. Now if you have opposite vectors, opposite direction vectors, then cos theta equals to cos 180. How much is cos 180? It is minus 1. Okay, so cos 180 is minus 1. R is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab minus 1. This will make it minus 2ab. So a square plus b square minus 2ab. A minus b whole square. Square and
minus
will
b.
cancel, a minus b. So how you will add the vectors? Actually by subtracting. Okay, the subtraction will give you the addition if your vectors are opposite in direction. Okay, then third one, if suppose theta is 90 degree, means the vectors are perpendicular to each other. If a vector and this is your b vector, then r is equal to under root a square plus b square plus 2ab and cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So this term completely will become 0 and you have a square plus b square under root. Will give you the will give you the magnitude of a vector and b vector, a plus b. Now what about the direction? This was the magnitude. Now let us find out the direction in all the cases. How much will be tan beta equals to b sine 0 upon a plus b cos 0. Cos 0 is 1, sine 0 is 0. So this is 0. Okay. What will be the direction of, if suppose this is a, this is b, then the resultant will be along the same direction of a and b only. What angle resultant will make with a vector? 0 degree. Okay. If suppose you have 180 degree, then how much will be tan beta? Tan beta is equal to b sine 180 upon a plus b cos 180. Now how much is sine 180? It is 0. So your angle is 0 again. So your what angle the resultant will make with this value is 0. Okay, and this value is minus 1. But 0 into b will be 0 and 0 upon anything will be 0. So resultant will be along the direction of a. Okay, if third one is there, suppose this one, then tan beta is equal to b sine 90 upon a plus b cos 90. Cos 90 is 0, sine 90 is 1. So this is b upon a. Tan beta equals to b upon a. Right? This will be the direction, and just before that we discussed that how to find out the magnitude. Okay. Few small things also I will discuss today. Small topics. So this was about the methods to find out the resultant. Addition. Resultant means you are doing the addition. Okay. Now condition for zero resultant. Condition for zero resultant. Zero resultant means suppose a person starts from A, reaches B, then from B it moves in this direction and reaches C, then from C it again moves in this direction and comes back to A. If I ask you that what is the net displacement, so you will say that it is 0 because the person started from A and comes back to A it's again. Now the same thing in the similar way you can find the condition for a general condition for zero resultant. Now what is that? It is, if suppose this is your if suppose you have a this angle, suppose this is A vector, this is B vector, this is C vector, and let us suppose that the angle between, let us suppose that this angle is alpha, right? This angle is beta and this angle is gamma. Okay, then your condition will be, then the condition for zero resultant, because means before this particular topic, before the previous topic, we obtained a condition that A upon sine alpha is equal to B upon sine beta is equal to C upon sine gamma. Just what we have done is we have replaced this C by R and gamma by beta. So theta, right? So if you just look at that result and if you write that equation here in this, for this particular condition, you can write like this, right? So this, if you have a condition of this type, if A vector magnitude divided by sine of angle between B and C, angle opposite to A, right? You look here, A sine of angle opposite to A, B sine of angle opposite to B, C sine of angle opposite to C, A upon sine alpha, B upon sine beta, C upon sine gamma. If these ratios are equal, then you can say that your means you have a condition of zero resultant. Your resultant will be zero. Okay. Similarly, if you have like this, suppose you have A vector, you have B vector, you have C vector, and let us suppose that this angle is alpha, this angle is beta, and this angle is gamma. Okay, this is another condition. Angle opposite to A is alpha, means alpha is the angle between B and C. Okay, beta is opposite to B, means angle between C and A, and gamma is opposite to C, means angle between A and B. Then if this if you have a condition of equilibrium here, equilibrium means it is like, suppose there is a box. Okay, if suppose one person pulls this box in this direction with 10 Newton and other person pulls in this direction with 10 Newton again, the box will not move in either direction because the vectors are balancing each other, or balancing each other means the resultant of both the vectors is zero, because how you find the vectors resultant when they are opposite in direction? By subtraction. So what is your resultant? Zero. Box will not move at all. Such type of condition when the resultant becomes zero is called as equilibrium. Okay, so if you have equilibrium here, suppose you have a condition like this, and if you have equilibrium, then you will have A upon sine alpha will be equal to B upon sine beta will be equal to C upon sine gamma. Okay, this relation will be there if equilibrium is there, or if this condition holds true, then you can say that you have a situation of equilibrium, means the resultant will be zero resultant you will get. This is called as Lami's theorem. Lami's theorem. Okay, so one of the important theorems for solving the numericals. Okay, yes. Now what is equilibrium vector? Some few terms are there. Equilibrium vector is, suppose here A and B, okay, whatever was their resultant was balanced by C, that's why you are getting a equilibrium here. So you can say that C is equal, as A, B, C are in equilibrium. Okay, if your resultant means addition, if A plus B plus C, if you are adding any number of vectors and your resultant is zero, then you say that the vectors are in equilibrium. Okay, suppose there is a box, right? A person is pulling in this direction with 10 Newton, another person is pulling in this direction with 5 Newton, then the box will move in this direction. If suppose whatever is the resultant, if I apply another force with the same magnitude in this direction, just opposite to this, the box will not move in either direction. So what's happening? This force has balanced the effect of two forces. Then this vector will be called as the equilibriant vector of these two. Okay, the given vectors are these two. their equilibriant vector is this vector, which can bring the system in equilibrium. When this vector will be added to these two vectors, your resultant will be 0. So this vector will be called as the equilibriant. Okay, equilibriant vector, right? Finally, the last topic for today, properties of vector addition. Properties of vector addition. Properties of vector addition. First one is vectors of same nature can be added. Same nature can be added means you can always add a force vector in another force vector only. You cannot add force vector to displacement vector. You cannot add displacement vector to acceleration vector. You cannot add acceleration vector to momentum vector. However, you can add a momentum vector to another momentum vector, a acceleration vector to another acceleration vector, like this. Means the vectors of same nature can only be added together, right? Different nature vectors cannot be added, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what about velocity and speed?
Speed is not a vector, beta. Speed is a scalar quantity. Okay?
Oh, okay, sir.
Right? A scalar cannot be added to a vector. They are totally different. Only you can multiply a vector by a scalar. Vector can be only multiplied by a scalar. Addition, subtraction is not possible between scalar and vector. Okay? Only multiplication is possible. Alright, second thing is A plus B is equal to B plus A. Means for vector addition, commutative law holds. Right? Commutative law holds true for vector addition. You add A in B or you add B in A. It doesn't matter. You will get the same result. Third one is associative law. Associative law. It means that if you have three vectors, A vector plus B vector plus C vector is equal to A vector plus B vector plus C vector. If you have three vectors, you can add B and C first and then you can, to their result you can add A, or you can add A or B first and to their result you can add C. It doesn't matter. The result will be same. Means if you have three vectors to add, you can add any two of them first and then to their result you can add the third vector. That is your associative law. Okay, so today we will keep it up to here only, as the